Three soldiers, one vehicle, a road in southern Lebanon. And now, a diplomatic crisis threatening to unravel whatever's left of a ceasefire that was already hanging by a thread. This is the situation on the ground in Lebanon right now, and it is moving fast. We're going to break down exactly what happened, who's saying what, and what this means for a conflict that has already cost more than 3,500 Lebanese lives. On Saturday, June 6th, an Israeli military strike hit a Lebanese army vehicle traveling between the towns of Far Tebnit and Khardali, that's in the Nabatieh district of southern Lebanon. Three Lebanese Armed Forces members were killed: Brigadier General Samer Sabra, Captain Elie Khoury, and Private Hassan Ghazal. The Lebanese military released images of the burnt out wreckage, and their statement did not mince words. They called it brutal, deliberate, and repeated aggression, and directly accused Israel of trying to sabotage ceasefire efforts and block a promised withdrawal from occupied Lebanese territory. Now, the IDF confirmed the strike and they launched an investigation, but their explanation tells a very different story. According to Israel, the vehicle was moving, quote, suspiciously without any prior coordination inside what they described as an active combat zone, roughly 4 miles north of the Litani River. They also said troops were on heightened alert due to intelligence warning of imminent Hezbollah attacks. Two sides, two completely different framings of the same moment. That's the reality of this conflict right now. And that strike didn't happen in isolation. Just the night before, Friday, a separate Israeli strike hit the town of Jebdine, killing 5 people, including a woman and a paramedic affiliated at the Amal movement's humanitarian arm. Two others were wounded. The IDF also issued evacuation orders for 5 southern localities: Aramta, Masgara, Kafr Huna, Sijoud, and Ansarieh, telling residents to move north of the Zahrani River, citing Hezbollah infrastructure in the area. Meanwhile, sirens were sounding across northern Israel on Saturday as Hezbollah continues launching drones. The IDF intercepted one. 3 others crashed in southern Lebanon near Israeli troop positions. No casualties were reported there. Over the same weekend, Israel struck roughly 150 Hezbollah sites, weapons depot, command centers, infrastructure across the south. This is not a ceasefire in any traditional sense. It is at best a ceasefire in name only. Here's where it gets even more complicated. There is a proposed ceasefire deal on the table, US backed, negotiated between the Israeli and Lebanese government. The terms: Israel agrees not to ceasefire Beirut, Hezbollah stops attacking Israel, and security zones are established in the south where Hezbollah cannot operate. Hezbollah's leader Naim Qassem rejected it outright, calling the talks futile. And then there's the Lebanon-Iran dynamic, which has become its own flashpoint. In a CNN interview, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun said his people are fed up and accused Tehran of using Lebanon as a bargaining chip to secure its own separate deal with the US and Israel. Iran pushed back hard. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi fired back on social media, essentially saying if Lebanon were truly a bargaining chip, a deal would have happened already. He told President Aoun to focus on, quote, your real foe, meaning Israel. It is a remarkable moment. Lebanon's president is publicly calling out Iran, and Iran is publicly calling out Lebanon, all while the bombs are still falling. So, where does this leave us? The Lebanese army has stayed neutral throughout this entire conflict. They haven't fired a single shot in this war, which is exactly why Saturday's strike landed so differently. This wasn't a Hezbollah target, these were soldiers of a state military, and that distinction matters enormously both legally and diplomatically. The Lebanese government wants this war to end so it can actually assert control over its south and eventually disarm Hezbollah. Israel has publicly doubted Beirut's ability to do that, and Hezbollah, as we saw this week, isn't waiting around for diplomacy to run its course. With over 3,550 dead in Lebanon and no functional ceasefire in place, the gap between a deal being negotiated and a deal that actually holds has never looked wider.